Close your eyes for just 1 second and listen to the room around you. Even if you are sitting in absolute silence, there is a hidden, underlying frequency to your existence. Your heart is beating. Your blood is rushing. The electrical impulses in your brain are quietly humming. Now take that concept and expand it outside of your body, outside of your house, outside of this planet, and into the terrifying, freezing vacuum of deep space. For decades, modern society was taught a very specific, undisputed scientific fact. Space is a complete vacuum, and therefore, space is completely, utterly silent. We were told that the universe is a dead, mute void. But recently, the greatest astrophysicists on Earth, using the most advanced technology ever created by human hands, realized that they were completely wrong. The universe is not silent. It is screaming. And the most mind-bending part of this discovery is that ancient Hindu sages mathematically mapped out this exact cosmic sound thousands of years before the invention of the telescope. I want to take you on a journey to a discovery that completely shattered the walls between cutting-edge astrophysics and ancient Sanatana Dharma. A few years ago, space agencies, including NASA and the European Space Agency, began analyzing data from the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, an incredibly advanced satellite designed to stare directly into the heart of our Sun. Scientists were studying something called Helioseismology, because the Sun is not solid, but rather a massive, churning ball of superheated plasma. The intense nuclear reactions at its core create physical, acoustic waves. These massive sound waves travel outward, bouncing around the inside of the Sun, causing the entire star to physically vibrate and ring exactly like a colossal cosmic bell. Of course, human ears cannot hear these extremely low frequencies in the vacuum of space, and the waves take hours to complete a single cycle. So, scientists took 40 days of this solar vibration data and sped it up by a factor of tens of thousands so that it could fall within the range of human hearing. When they finally hit play in the laboratory, what they heard sent chills down the spines of researchers around the world. It was not static. It was not a chaotic explosion. It was a deep, continuous, rhythmic, pulsating hum. A singular, eternal, vibrating tone that sounded exactly, perfectly, undeniably like the ancient Sanskrit syllable, Om. I've noticed that whenever modern people talk about the mantra Om, they treat it like a cute, new age relaxation tool. They think it is just a random sound that someone sitting by a river invented to help them focus. A lot of people miss this, but to reduce Om to a simple meditation technique is the greatest tragedy of modern understanding. Om is not a human invention. It is a cosmic discovery. Long before NASA captured the acoustic waves of the Sun, and long before physicists understood the microwave background radiation of the universe, the ancient rishis of India sat in the freezing, oxygen-deprived caves of the Himalayas. They didn't have multi-billion-dollar satellites. Their technology was their own purified consciousness. By completely silencing the static of the material mind through rigorous tapasya, they turned their human nervous systems into hypersensitive cosmic radio receivers. In the absolute depths of profound meditation, they heard the underlying baseline acoustic frequency of creation itself. They heard the Shabda Brahman, the supreme Godhead in the form of sound. To truly understand the terrifying and awe-inspiring gravity of this, we have to open the Bhagavad Gita. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, surrounded by the deafening chaos of millions of soldiers, war elephants, and the blowing of conch shells, Lord Krishna spoke the ultimate truth of the cosmos to Arjuna. In chapter 9, verse 17, Lord Krishna makes a statement that is so profound, it completely alters our understanding of physics and spirituality. He declares, I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. Think about the sheer magnitude of that statement. The supreme personality of Godhead, the architect of infinite parallel dimensions, physically identifies himself with a specific acoustic vibration. He does not say, I created Om. He says, I am Om, in my opinion. This single verse proves that Sanatana Dharma is the most scientifically advanced framework of reality ever documented. Modern science tells us about the Big Bang theory, the idea that the universe began from a singular point of infinite density and rapidly expanded. But cutting-edge physicists are now realizing that bang is the wrong word. A bang implies a chaotic, disorganized explosion. Instead, scientists studying the cosmic microwave background radiation have discovered something called baryon acoustic oscillations. These are literal, massive sound waves that rippled through the dense plasma of the early universe. It was sound, not light, that originally clumped matter together to form the very first galaxies, stars, and planets. The universe was spoken into existence. The ancient texts, particularly the Upanishads, stated this exact process millennia ago. They explained that before there was matter, there was a primal vibration. That vibration is Om. It is the geometric blueprint of all physical reality. When you chant Om, you are not just making a peaceful noise. You are literally harmonizing your vocal cords with the exact frequency that organizes the subatomic particles of the universe. This brings us to the actual physical anatomy of the sound itself, which is where the ancient science becomes even more mind-bending. A lot of people think Om is just a single flat sound spelled Om. But the Mandukya Upanishad, one of the most intellectually complex and profound philosophical texts ever written, breaks down the hidden code inside this single syllable. It explains that Om is actually composed of three distinct phonetic sounds, A, U, and M. When you pronounce it correctly, it is AUM. This is not a linguistic accident. The ancient seers mapped these three letters to the fundamental states of human consciousness and the dimensions of the universe. The first sound, A, is produced at the very back of the throat. You don't use your tongue or your lips. It is the primal origin of sound. The Upanishads state that A represents the Jagrat state, which is our waking consciousness. It represents the physical, material universe. Everything you can see, touch, and measure. When you chant A, you can physically feel the vibration in your stomach and lower chest. It is the grounding force of reality. The second sound, U, rolls forward through the mouth. The Upanishads state that U represents the Swapna state, which is the dreaming consciousness. It represents the subtle universe, the dimension of the mind, the intellect, and the unseen forces of nature. When you transition from A to U, you can feel the physical vibration move upward from your chest, directly into your throat, and the lower part of your face. The third sound, M, is created by closing the lips. It is the absolute termination of the vocalization. The Upanishads state that M represents the Sushupti state, the state of deep, dreamless sleep. It is the cosmic void, the state of dissolution where all physical and mental constructs collapse back into the source. When you hum the M, the vibration moves entirely into your nasal cavity and the center of your brain, physically vibrating your skull. But the true secret of Om, the part that holds the ultimate spiritual power, is what happens immediately after the M. It is the silence that follows. The Mandukya Upanishad calls this the Turiya, the fourth state. It is the pure observing consciousness of the soul. It is Lord Krishna himself, the silent witness who exists beyond the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe. When you chant AUM, and then sit in the profound silence that follows, you are mathematically replicating the birth, life, death, and ultimate liberation of the entire cosmos inside your own physical body. And modern biology is finally catching up to this ancient spiritual technology. Scientists and neurologists have conducted extensive MRI and EEG scans on individuals chanting Om. What they found completely verifies the ancient texts. When a human being correctly vocalizes the Om frequency, the sound physically stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the longest cranial nerve in the body, running from the brainstem down to the abdomen. This specific acoustic stimulation instantly deactivates the brain's amygdala, the fear and stress center, and drastically lowers heart rate, blood pressure, and cortisol levels. The vibration literally forces the brain to shift from chaotic beta waves into highly synchronized alpha and theta waves. The ancient rishis didn't need brain scanners to know this. They understood that the human body is a microscopic replica of the universe. If the universe was created by the sound of Om, then the human nervous system could be perfectly healed, aligned, and optimized by returning to that exact same source frequency. This is why the sound of Om transcends all borders, all cultures, and all modern scientific arrogance. It is not just a cultural trademark of India. It is the property of the cosmos. When you look up at the night sky, you are looking at an infinite ocean of plasma, radiation, and gravity that is currently humming with the exact same frequency that has been chanted in Hindu temples for thousands of years. The supreme intelligence of Sanatana Dharma is that it never separated science from devotion. The rishis knew that astrophysics, biology, and theology are just different languages describing the exact same ultimate reality. Think about the profound beauty of this connection. The same Lord Krishna who playfully stole butter in Vrindavan, the same Lord who lovingly washed the feet of his friend Sudama, is the supreme architect of the cosmic sound that powers the nuclear furnace of the sun. He is both the most intimate, loving friend of the devotee and the terrifying, infinite physics of the universe. When you chant Om, you are not just calming your mind. You are actively plugging your soul directly into the mainframe of creation. You are aligning the vibration of your physical vocal cords with the vibration of the galaxies and offering that sound directly back to the Supreme Lord who breathed it into existence. This is the power of our authentic history. We do not need to rely on blind faith because the deepest truths of our scriptures are physically written into the fabric of the stars. The next time you hear the chant of Om, whether in a grand temple or in the quiet space of your own room, do not just treat it as a word. Recognize it as the baseline frequency of reality. Recognize it as the voice of the sun, the echo of the Big Bang, and the direct physical presence of the Supreme Lord vibrating inside your own chest. If this deep dive into the astrophysics of Om completely changed your perspective on the universe and our ancient scriptures, I need you to hit that like button right now so the algorithm can push this vital truth to every corner of the world. Humanity needs to understand the supreme science behind Sanatana Dharma. I read every single comment, and I want to know your exact thoughts. Have you ever felt the physical power of the Om vibration during meditation? Does knowing that the sun vibrates to this exact sound make your devotion stronger? Tell me your authentic experiences in the comments below. Make sure you hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss our deep dives into the true, unedited science of the ancient world. Stay faithful, stay devoted, and I will see you in the next one.